but now it has 2 PowerPC G4 chips running at 500 megahertz, running Mac OS 9 again. On the right, that's 1 gigahertz, fastest in the world, Intel Pentium 3, running Windows 2000 Pro. So let's bring Photoshop up again.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go. Again, opening up the file. Starting to do our transfers. Doing our moves and copies and pastes.
Photoshop takes advantage of both processors very efficiently.
Yes, a little quick at those gradients. Yeah, there's a plug-in for Photoshop for multiprocessing that automatically takes advantage of the 2 processors inside the Power Mac.
Starting the radio blur on the Power Mac. All right.
Done.
Now, we could wait for the gigahertz Pentium or not. Why don't we move on? So, 500 megahertz, dual processor G4 on that side, gigahertz Pentium 3, and the time's the same 124 seconds by the time the Pentium completes, 61 seconds on the dual processor Power Mac G4. If you do the math, that is equivalent to a 2 gigahertz Pentium 3 if you could buy one. You may be able to buy one in 12 to 18 months. We're going to deliver dual processor G4 machines starting today. We're also running at over 7 gigaflops, 7 billion instructions per second in these machines. So, what are we going to do with this technology? We have 3 models of Power Mac G4s, all at really attractive prices. 400 megahertz, 450, and 500 megahertz. Here's what we're going to do. The 400 megahertz model will continue to have a single 400 megahertz processor in it. The 450 megahertz model, however, is going to come standard with 2 450 megahertz G4s, and the high-end model is going to come standard with 2 500 megahertz G4 chips. You will not even be able to buy the 2 high-end models with a single processor. They're going to come standard with dual processors. It is going to be the first personal computers in history to come standard with dual processors. But we're not done yet. We've got more. On each of these models, on every Power Mac model, we are also adding gigabit Ethernet on the motherboard. Gigabit Ethernet is the new next generation of Ethernet technology that runs at a gigabit instead of 100 megabits that most systems run at now. This is very expensive stuff if you go add a card into your computer. We are building it onto the motherboard so it doesn't even take a slot. This stuff is really fast and opens up some whole new application areas for our pro customers. So to show us a little bit of that, here's Phil Schiller again.
This is a lot of fun. You know, this is something that other people sell on their servers for a $1,000 add-on, a gigabit card, and it's built into the new Power Mac. So what we have here is a new Power Mac G4 with its built-in gigabit Ethernet, and I have a second Power Mac G4 with its gigabit Ethernet being an AppleShare server, something all of our customers know how to do. And so we thought, what can we do to best show you the kind of bandwidth and performance you get over that fast Ethernet connection? We could move a file back and forth, but now that's kind of boring, so we thought, well, let's do some video. Let's do something others haven't done. Let's take some video from the server and play it over that gigabit Ethernet. We're going to go even one step further. I'm going to open up our professional video editing software, Final Cut Pro. I'm going to launch a project. And what's different about this project than any other project you might have seen before is the video is not on this Power Mac. It's on the other Power Mac playing over the gigabit Ethernet. And it's not regular compressed video. For those in the business, this is uncompressed standard definition video, high quality video. So let me just play it right off the server.
It's gonna blow! The nitro! It's gonna blow!
Pretty cool. Now, not only can I play it, I'm in Final Cut Pro. I can scrub through it. Jump anywhere I want. I'm accessing the data right off the server. Let's just go create an in point, like I'm going to edit my own video. Create an out point, drag it off, do an edit. I'm working with the video, editing a project right off the server over gigabit Ethernet. But just to make it even more fun, let's open it up, make it really big, and play it directly from the server over gigabit Ethernet at 16 megabytes per second, a huge amount of data for video straight between the server and the desktop. Now, my boss has just disconnected the network on me to prove it. We're on Ethernet. Pretty cool.
So, gigabit Ethernet on the motherboard on all three Power Mac models. And we're upping the storage as well. 20 gigabytes, 30 gigabytes, and 40 gigabytes built into these products, taking only one of the three drive bays, so you can expand with 2 additional drives inside if you want, beyond even this. And of course, our new optical mouse and Pro keyboard. So we're doing all of this. Dual processor standard on the top 2 models. Gigabit Ethernet on the motherboard. More storage in every model, and our new optical mouse and keyboard. And we're doing it all for the same price. Our teams have worked so hard to be able to throw this stuff in, basically, without changing prices at all. We're very happy, and all of these models are available today. So, we have got a really fast chip and a really fast system architecture. But because 2 brains are better than 1, we're going to make multi-processing with dual processor standard in the top 2 Power Mac models, and we think that this is going to be the best Power Mac ever, not only the fastest Macintosh, but continue the Power Mac's tradition as being the fastest personal computer in the world. So, now, the next thing I'd like to talk about is Mac OS X. Mac OS X is our new operating system, as you may know. It's rewritten from the ground up. It's got preemptive multitasking, it's got protected memory, it's got much more modern networking, great plumbing. It's also got a great new user interface called Aqua, and it also supports what's called symmetric multiprocessing to take full advantage of those dual processors in the new Power Macs. So when you buy one of those new Power Macs with dual processors, you're ready for OS X. We're on track to ship a public beta of Mac OS X in September, I think the very early part of September. And we are on track to release Mac OS X very early in 2001, and it's looking great. And we don't have time to give a full-blown demo today, but I'd like to give you just a demo of the user interface in case you've never seen it before. So let me do that now. This is Mac OS X, and a few things very quickly. I'll just launch a document here. And real quick, as you notice, when I move windows around the screen, the whole window moves, not just the outline. That's also true when I resize things, right? Really nice. And one of the problems we wanted to solve was when you get these dialogues up and you don't know which application or window they're attached to, especially in a true multitasking system, you may want to go do something else for a while and come back, and you have no idea what window that dialogue went with. Plus, you have to manage that dialogue window separately. So here's what we've done to solve that. If this is a window, we can say, boom, that's my save panel, right on the window. And so there can be no question which window this is associated with. And when you're done, boom, it just goes away. That's simple. And you may ask, well, what happens if the window's really small? Well, if the window's really small, it just does this. And well, what happens if the window is off screen? Well, it just does this. Right? So everything's been taken care of, and now we don't have to manage our dialogues like they are more windows. I want to show you one other thing about the save panel. This illustrates some of the philosophy of Mac OS X. You've probably never seen a save panel this simple on any computer before. When you want to save something, you name it, and you simply push at this pop-up list that says where. And in here, it's listed the desktop, my favorite places, and the recent places I've been. And I can pick any one of those and save. Very simple. But if I want to save somewhere else, I just pop this little control down here, and I get a very sophisticated browser here that'll let me go anywhere. So let's say I want to go into Avi's home directory and save this in Avi's public folder. I can even add Avi's public folder to my favorites so that the next time, boom, I get this right in here. I've got Avi's public folder. So you have complexity when you need it, but we hide it when you don't need it so that the user interface can be much, much simpler. Next, I'd like to just show you the Finder. The Finder is really simple. There's been some misconceptions about it, too. If you like your hard disk on the desktop, just drag it out. And very easy to just launch a Finder by clicking it just like you're used to right now. We also let you show and hide the toolbar. And so I'm going to use it today. I'll keep it out. And here's your computer, and you can just navigate down here just like you've done before. And I can navigate down to my documents as an example. And as you see, I don't have to have gridding turned on. I can put them anywhere I want to, make any kind of a mess that I like. But we save you this work because to navigate down to the most popular places, because we populate this top with some shortcuts. So I can get to docs just by clicking this button, or apps, or my favorites, or my home, or other users, or the computer. And it's very, very easy to move around. Now, I also have different views on things. I have icon view, I have list view, and I have a new browser view. And I can click back and forth between them with this little control on every Finder window. So we know what icon and list view are, but you may not have seen browser view before. Browser view is very simple. It lets me start anywhere and just browse along these columns. So I'll pick in my home directory, pick my documents, and I can pick one. I even have a preview mode, and I can see exactly where I've been. I can click anywhere back there to go back, and I've got a little previewer here for things. I can even preview movies if I want to, you know.
Aerodynamic design. Breath.
I can even have QuickTime VR previews, you know, if I want. And I can even preview MP3s if I want to, you know. You get the idea. Now, the next thing I'd like to show you is the dock. The dock is wonderful. It's a place to put those apps you use the most, those documents you use the most, and miniaturized windows. So this is the dock, and anyone can change the size of the dock to anything that suits them. They can have it small, they can have it big. And when you put more things in the dock, it shrinks to fit. So let me go back as an example to add an application. I can add an application like an image capture app anywhere in here. Just drop it down and boom, the dock shrinks. And I can move things around in the dock, change any order that I might like. I can also add a bunch of apps at one time if I choose to. I can add all these apps, and again, you can see the dock shrink a little bit more.